What's up, everybody? Welcome to the flip side. It is episode I have no idea because that's something Dino keeps track of. I've got Mercenot and Chris Colbert with us, and we are going to have a special guest joining us shortly. We're going to get into a little bit of market report from the WonderCon with Chris, talk a little bit of news, and then show a couple pickups. So we're going to hop right in. All right. How's it going, gentlemen?
Living a dream. Just got off a plane from Los Angeles, and I'm ready to talk comic book conventions.
You run into any of the... did you run into Sean or any of the other crew out there?
Nah, I tried to get up with Sean, but it just didn't align. He was only in town for I think 2 days of the show, and I think it overlapped with when I was working, so it just didn't work out.
All right. Any other anybody exciting worth running into?
I mean, I passed by I think I met Chris Rupp for the first time, Rupp's Comics.
Okay.
Let's see, Big Clutch was in the building. Dennis from Wanted I ran into DeVoe and his crew over at Cover Price and talked to them a couple of times. But yeah, I mean, just a couple of the familiar faces and stuff like that were in the building, and I mean, was eating my lunch and was staring at the Black Power Rangers booth, but I was like, I don't have anything to say to you, so I'm not going to go say anything to you. So,
well, I mean, the Power Rangers, man, there's so many of them and they're everywhere. And
yeah, I mean, the original Black Power Ranger, though, is he holds a certain level of nostalgia for me.
Oh,
but
it's the original.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I'm just I mean, you weren't my favorite of that group, so I ain't really got. I mean, my favorite's dead now, so I ain't got shit to say to you.
Well, it's amazing because there's freaking so many that they're doing toy store circuits, for love of God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good for him. Netflix, I think, actually is dropping a reunion movie.
I did see something about that.
Yeah, so I guess that's something that we should have talked about. But yeah, they're doing a original cast, or as much as original cast as they can, reunion movie. And it's supposed to be apparently Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa, kill Trini, and so her daughter is taking up her mantle to get revenge on the two of them. So it's kind of a dark revenge story.
Wonder if we get Bryan Cranston back.
That would be amazing, but I doubt it.
He might do it just for shits and giggles.
Honestly, he seems like the type of dude who would be appreciative of them coming back to him and being you were Zordon in this movie and you were a putty in the original cast. So definitely.
I mean, the man's underwear got sold at auction. He's got to not take himself too seriously.
Yeah, it's true.
The man also, famously starts 2 shows in his underwear. So, again, and both tighty whities, even, man, that takes some fucking That takes some special kind of just.
I gave those up in the 90s. My favorite rap line ever is Biggie, red boxers so my dick can breathe. Ever since then, changed my life.
That's the knowledge you get here, guys. That is the knowledge you get. And now everybody, if there were women in our audience, they would know what you're rocking. All right. The kind of hot gossip of the weekend is oops, I didn't even do a good job of getting this. This is what happens when Dino's not here. Let's see here. God damn it. Oh, I got rid of my screen. All right. The hot gossip is Jonathan Majors got arrested for domestic charges. Seems to be. Oh, hold on. I'm going to let our guest join us. 1 second. Oh, never mind. He's not here. Thought he was here. Got arrested for assault charges in New York. Seems to be all kinds of rumors going both ways on this. People saying it's him and he's got a history of problems. People saying, no, it's just a misunderstanding. I don't know what it is, but it seems potentially problematic.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, kind of dovetailing on what you speaking about, apparently people in the Yale and New York Film Society, because he got his MFA from Yale, were decided to come out the woodwork being oh, he's got a history of this, but it's where were you at all these years leading up to him getting famous? So it's like, well, and again, I'm not remotely saying any side is correct in this scenario. I'm just saying though, is that like, yeah, those people have shown up and come out the woodwork. So even if this does kind of like get resolved and it comes out that, he wasn't guilty of what he's being accused of, that still can be ultimately very damaging to his career for these people to kind of come out the woodwork and be like, oh yeah, no, he was that type of dude back in like, the master's program and around the city and doing the film and theater scene in New York during that time. So, I mean, it's not a good look. It can be corrected pretty easy on the Marvel side if it ultimately comes out to be true. You're just burying his ass out of existence and we got a new king. But yeah, this is just not what you want to hear, especially if you got any books to sell. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it gets resolved fast, they'll be okay. But man, the mouse doesn't sit on controversy very long. They don't want the heat. They really don't.
Yeah, no.
I mean, but also, the Yale thing could be, oh yeah, I saw him get in a fight one time when he was 20 and drunk, and a lot of things could go one way or the other on how much is there.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see how it pans out. I mean, like it says in there, the U.S. Army ads that he's been doing that came out of the Super Bowl, they pulled those. Let's say, look at the Army having some gumption and doing what might be the right thing for once, because God knows when I was in, that was far from. They could care less about domestic. As long as you didn't spill out in the street, they could give two shits about domestic violence. But maybe they're actually developing a conscience. So
well, it's a goddamn shame. The man's probably got 2 movies in the top 5 right now, and this happens.
I mean, yeah, he's the it dude in Hollywood right now. I mean, there's nobody else who's
bitch.
Yeah, who's hotter other than maybe Brendan Fraser. So
yeah. Oh man. All right. So the other kind of big thing that's got people pissed off is the Mondo Funko news.
Yeah. So being at a con, like having people who are close to the Mondo, like having like the people I work with who are like Comic-Con International staff who have been working with the guys from Mondo for years, been fans, been like, worked with them professionally. They were very angry because, I mean, Funko basically acquired them less than a year ago and then basically fired all the heads and half of the other people that worked there. It sounds like basically a lot of the stuff that they were doing under the Mondo brand is going to be kaput. So there won't be probably any Mondo at San Diego Comic-Con, or it'll maybe rebranded, who knows, or it might be the last vestiges of stuff that they already had made up. But yeah, a lot of people were very upset about this because they had definitely loyalty to Mondo and thought that ultimately the acquisition by Funko was going to elevate Mondo to a new level. And instead, they basically kind of just killed Mondo.
What's interesting, I feel like Mondo was printing money. They had such a loyal fan base.
Yeah, I mean, it's the overhead and that stuff I felt like was very low. So, I mean, who knows what the logic was? Maybe Funko had a bad year the last year or so, and they were like, well, we'll take it out of Mondo's ass. So
now I don't know anything about really Funko or Mondo, but I guess my question is, since they seem to be fan favorites, like what's the rationale? Were they just too expensive to keep on, like as far as contracts, or what's happening?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, the branding to get those licenses to do the stuff they were doing had to be expensive, but I feel like it had to be paying for itself. But again, nobody really knows that except for the insider, because Mondo wasn't a public traded company, and I don't think Funko is either, to my knowledge. So we may never get the official what happened ever, honestly. But
there had to be some value there if they bought them and acquired them, right?
Yeah, I mean, so from the articles I'm seeing, they're killing the poster division, leaving behind the toy and vinyl records division, and those two might still be in jeopardy, apparently. Let's see, Funko. Okay, so Funko had losses at the last quarterly report to investors, having to write off about $30 million retail value worth of big head figurines they couldn't sell and sending them to the dump. So I think honestly is that Funko was in a bad way, and they were just like, all these cats making big salaries from Mondo, we don't really need you anymore, at least in our eyes. So yeah, I think that might have been what went down.
I'm sure they've got some kind of non-compete for a while.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we'll see what happens. They may go and basically start their own company again. I mean, they did it once, and they may go do it again.
Yeah, so, and one more thing: does Funko have like their own thing, like their own toy that they don't have to license for?
No, because everything Funko makes is licensed, with the exception of Freddy Funko. Every single figurine is a licensed product from somebody else.
That man, they're gonna have to be on. They're gonna have to be on that. Man, give me like the next Transformers or something like that, but our thing.
We're making GoBots now, like that.
We need our thing now.
I mean, that booth was. I mean, at the con again, not to delve into that too soon, but like at the con, like them big ass bags of Funkos were everywhere to be abound. And also, Funko. Apparently, again, I'm not a Funko dude. Never really done the research. I've sold a handful of them that were profitable from previous cons, but apparently they've got their whole Loungefly division, which is like all these like branded like women's backpack situation that you see all around like Disney World and things like that in Disneyland. So I mean, the Funko stuff may not be making money, but they damn sure were selling out of them Loungefly bags like they were going out of style. So
I mean, at some point you run out of things to license. I'm gonna let Josh hop onto the stream. Welcome, Josh. International Comics joining us. Are you
What's up?
Hey man.
Hey.
It's been a while since we chatted. You had short hair last time I saw you.
Yeah, I gotta cut it again. It's getting really long. What's going on, Colbert? Long time. No talk, no see. Mercenaut. What's up?
I just saw you, man.
Yeah, I know.
Anything to add to the Mondo discussion?
So well, I don't know what you guys have said, but apparently Mondo didn't end.
No, they're not gone completely. Just all the people who work there got all the people who like are the originators of Mondo got fired, basically. And they're shutting down the poster division.
So it's pretty much going to be a poster division named Mondo that maybe doesn't have the same flair.
Gotcha. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I feel like people are loyal to the styles, but I could be wrong. Could be just loyal to the name because it makes money.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I thought the surprise guest was Jonathan Majors. I think he's probably not supposed to say anything right now. We'll try and get him next week, man. That's where Dino is. He's actually off trying to negotiate that for us.
Yeah, that's a keep your head down type of situation.
Don't say a goddamn thing. On a brighter note, it appears
gotta keep your head down.
Jeremy Renner's finally walking after his accident, which is great. I mean, he looked rough, and I think all things were very worrisome. So that's good for him because, damn, he's also living pretty successful life now. He's got a Netflix show. He's got which one's Disney Plus got the Renovation?
Yeah, or Renovision. Something like that.
Yeah, Renovision, and then he's got the jail show. Damn, I can't think of it. Knights of Kingston or Mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah, Mayor Kingstown. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's doing pretty well post Marvel. So hopefully that can keep up. Looks like Disney announced a date for Secret Invasion. How do we feel about this one? Not the date, but how do we feel about this show?
I mean, I think, espionage, spy flick using the Marvel properties could be entertaining. I mean, at this point, we haven't had what was the last of the Marvel, not Moon Knight, but She-Hulk. She-Hulk was the last thing we had, and that was comfortably before Christmas that ended. So, I mean, we're kind of due for something to come out, and it's as good as any. I mean,
yeah, that's true. It was rocking pretty fast. I mean, there were Kamala, Hawkeye, something else, and She-Hulk all kind of in a row, and then we've had a little break. So maybe we're ready for something. And this one's, it's got Samuel L., right?
Yeah, he's the primary focus of it.
So that's got some pluses.
Yeah, so you got Samuel L., you have what's her face, Maria Hill, you have whoever Daenerys Amelia Clark is playing.
Scroll Queen. Queen, right?
Yeah. She's apparently supposed to be the Scroll Queen. Don Cheadle's going to make an appearance as well. So
we're also seeing the Carter. Is she in this one or no? Am I making that up? Not Peggy, the daughter.
Sharon Carter. Sharon.
Yeah. Are we seeing her?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she popped up, but I mean, who knows, honestly.
Okay. So, I'm betting at least it won't be fluff. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a fluff full show. I'm envisioning maybe we're getting something a little closer to like Falcon, Winter Soldier, a little more serious.
I mean, honestly, it'd be cool to have something build out a little bit more of the terrestrial stuff, like with what's her face, Val. So I want to see more stuff building out that side of things, just to see more of like the intermixing of Val and the street level, government level, bureaucracy bullshit, and ultimately something's going to have to happen to start creating a narrative to paint the Avengers in a poor light. So that's the only way that her team is going to be able to be touted and successful. So I'm just interested to see how, like, when that turn starts to happen.
Well, we should get some closure on Samuel to Nick Fury going to space, ideally. So I don't know. I'm hoping this is the show that we kind of need, because everything else has felt like a lot of standalone and not telling a lot of backstory. Like you said, it's just, okay, She-Hulk told She-Hulk, and most of the rest of that's pretty throwaway. Even the cameos felt like they were forced. Kamala Khan was pretty standalone. Hawkeye, other than introducing Kate Bishop, didn't tie much together. I think that's part of it. There's no universe building happening right now.
Yeah.
So, the other thing, I didn't get a slide, but you had sent me something that The Last Ronin's doing a video game.
Yep. So it's been announced. I mean, the video game development cycle, we're talking years away, like at least 3 years away from seeing this game. But it's, with the success of all these other kind of like nostalgia driven leveraging of the TMNT properties for games that have been very successful, because there was the Cowabunga collection, there was Shredder's Revenge, and both of those games were massive hits. So with that, their IDW is it's going to some unknown developer at this time. It hasn't been announced who's making it, but they're making a Last Ronin game based off of the story. So.
A solid Turtles game could be fun. I mean, Turtles, they have a good history of video games. You do something well, it could be good.
I mean, especially if you end up doing something that is kind of a deviation from what historically Turtle games have been. Like, I mean, you either get scrollers, like, side scrollers of the original era of, 1, 2, Turtles in Time, shit like that. Or you get the Turtles fighting game, which had its moments of being pretty cool. Honestly, a singular, spoilers for The Last Ronin, Michelangelo game where it is kind of Last of Us-y could be kind of cool. Like a game like that, or a God of War type of situation. Going that route, if they put it in the hands of the right developers, but that means that's a lot of money. So, from a development process, and that's going to have to go to a very expensive gaming or like developer to make that. But it could be worth it, though. I mean, I'd play it if they gave us a God of War, Last of Us, level type of game. I would definitely be all about it.
Yeah, that would be dope.
All right. So I know Chris was at WonderCon this weekend. What'd you see as far as how's the market? How are things selling? How's buying? How's things going out there in the first kind of big con of the season, feels like?
So was a little nervous at first because definitely, didn't bring trash books with me. Everything was like, B to C tier first appearances and decently high grade. And people were just not at first biting really. Like, I think there was a general nervousness. And I mean, some dealers straight up were honest with me. Like, they hadn't recouped damages from buying books from me last year, because I know one in particular bought at probably 85% of market from me. And then those books are now worth maybe 45% of that market. Ugh. So, and you could see it. Like, case in point, I went over, this is one I ain't got a problem saying their names. Went over to Metropolis Comic Connect's booth. and was trying to maybe do some trade and stuff, and the guys are in the booth for down to trade, and then they'd pull a book down. Keep in mind, these are not the comic book guys per se. Like you had the art guy, you have people who could buy on their behalf, but generally speaking, like they weren't the comic book guys. And a guy who had been working there for a while and just worked his way up to being, front of house sales dude. And they would pull a book down. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a, Avengers 1, 5.5. GPA on that's about, $6,000-ish or so. I've got about, a little over $6,000 in between these two books in my bag. They're worth all keys. Let's see if we can make a trade. He pulls the book down. They're asking $11,000 for it. I was just like, what? And they're like, and I'm like, it was like every single book they would pull down was like that, where it was like they were damn near double what the current market was. And I was like, oh, you guys bought these back when they bought them at the height of the market. So I was like, you can easily do the math in your head. They bought them at probably 30 to 35% of the height of the market. And that means that they're still upside down in the book now. And they're just like, we're just gonna have to sit on it until we get, because again, we always talk about the sunk cost fallacy. I've already invested so much money into this. I just got to see it through. And at some point you got to realize that you may not, like if you have a business, like if you're a collector who's like casually hobbyist, selling your shit, then then that just becomes collection now. You just, you eat it. But if you are a business, you kind of have to make a determination. At some point, you're going to have to just take that loss and keep it pushing. Mm-hmm. But that was like, it was like that in a couple booths where it's like you go pull a book down, there's somebody had a AF-15 that was double the market value. And I'm just like, yeah. And it got to the point, honestly, where that happened so many times on a book that I would want that I just said, fuck it. And on Sunday morning, woke up, made an offer to somebody on a book that I wanted on eBay for like a little bit under market, and they accepted. And I was like, well, I tried to put money in people's hands. Like, and it wasn't like I was trying to do just trade. Like I sold a bunch of my stuff the first 2 days. I was down to basically nothing but the last 3 books I brought with me. And people just either didn't have stuff or they just wanted way too much for what I'm like, your book's not worth that. Like I'm giving away value if I give you these 2 books and still have to put any money on top of it whatsoever. It's like the book's not worth that. Like, and it's like, I don't, you don't want to play you're competing with, eBay game, but it's like, nah, I mean, like any reasonable person selling this book is maybe starting $1,000 or $500 because, con markup. You're starting $500 to $1,000 over what the last sale was and walking your way into something maybe a little bit over that. You're not starting at 5 G's, 4 G's over GPA and expecting to get anywhere near that. And it's like, and I think, if you bought at the height of 20 or 21, you might be fucked. Like, I mean, as a person who is like selling books, like if majority of your high dollar books are that price point, you may not see the creep back up to that point for 5 to 10 years reasonably. Like we just may not get back there anytime soon.
That's a bitch. I wonder if those prices will kind of adjust as the season goes on and they're kind of out there seeing what's moving and not as they chit chat with each other. Because I know they've kind of been hibernating over the last couple months. I mean, there hasn't been a lot going on for most of these dealers. Most of the big guys don't, slum it around the regional shows.
I mean, I think certain people are just like, in certain situations, they're just having to accept it and maybe like cutting their losses. But I think really it's like, there were people who didn't sell a single wall book. Like, again, I don't want to name names of shops who were cool to talk to and shit like that. But like, there were people who didn't sell a single goddamn wall book the entire show because they were asking $3,000 over GPA when like there was a book on eBay. Like it's like case in point, it was like that Avengers 1, 5.5. It was like, okay, that's a $6,000, maybe $6,400 book or so. There was one on eBay I turned in the 5.0. So again, half grade lower, and that person was 6 or best offer. So if the eBay price for somebody who's losing a percentage on the 5.0 was 6 or best offer, how are you going to be at 11 or 12 on the 5.5? Yeah. It's like that's just unreasonable because somebody's just going to go buy the book on eBay. It's like even paying taxes, they still come out better than buying your fucking book. And there was quite a few booths where like you have a candid conversation. You get somebody who's like chill and like reasonable. You pull them aside and they're just like, yeah, man, I bought at the height of, and I'm stuck. I'm just stuck with those books. And I tried to kind of meet people halfway, and I was like, okay, well, that book's worth, really worth $4,400. Let's say I give you $5 in value. I'm still going to need to see, if I hand you these 2 books at $6, I'm going to need to see $900 back in cash to reasonably make this feel like it made some sense to me.
Yeah.
And the person's like, I still can't do it at that price point. I'm like, then you're fucked. You are truly fucked. And you are not going to move that book anytime soon.
I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. A lot of people talk about the used car market the same way. There's dealers that have certain cars they paid too much for, and you can get the same model next to it at a couple grand less at the same dealership because that car they have less sunk cost in,
Yeah. I mean,
so it's just, they get in their head that they got to just go.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to see it too, because, I mean, it ultimately, and it's not just, okay, so like you have to take consideration, like when you have price scenarios like that, people are paying to be at these cons. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, WonderCon is more of a has more of a comic book leaning type of focus to it, historically it has. And like you're going to see more comic book booths there than you would San Diego, because motherfuckers just can't afford to booth up at San Diego and recoup their damages. But there were holes in the comic book section of WonderCon, and I was just like,
oh,
like that's a little unnerving when there's like whole empty ass, like there was like 2 spots where people just did not either paid the money, just didn't show up because they're like, well, it's going to cost us too much.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it goes. Anybody going to any big shows in the next couple of months?
I got Heroes Father's Day weekend, and then I'll be back at San Diego Comic-Con July 22nd, 25th, somewhere in that range.
I don't know if I keep thinking about Heroes. I'm like, I could play the Father's Day card, but it feels I got a lot of other trips this year, so we'll see. I haven't said no, but I haven't said yes.
Well, I mean, now that I'm back in Atlanta, and again, so Charlotte's my hometown, so I get to go see my dad and go out to dinner with him, and that's been my days while everybody's at work and shit, hanging out at the con. Yeah, nice. So it's a win-win situation for me on that one. Also, I mean, Heroes is, say what you will about Shelton, he still puts on a good comic book show.
I've heard it's a great show.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great opportunity to get signatures because, it's because those artists, even though they may not get any attention, I always say this, they don't get any attention at New York or in California because they're always at those shows. Heroes, because it's the biggest show of the South, second to only MegaCon. You get people coming from as far out as Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina. I mean, people are driving 8 to 10 hours to come to Heroes for the opportunity to get a book signed in person by Sinkovich or Mike Zeck or somebody like that, because there's no other cons in the Southeast that they can go to. So it's a great opportunity for those guys. So you get a lot of great turnout from artists, your Scotty Youngs, and all. So you get old school guys and people who are popping now showing up to the show. Your Adam Hughes will definitely probably be there because it's like a 4-hour drive for him. But then, you get a lot more. The overall cost of entry is way lower for both people going to the show and people wanting to booth up. So you get more mom and pops who are more willing to booth up there, guys who do this as hobbyists, so they don't need to make all the money off their books. So again, more opportunities to get worthwhile deals or trade into better books. Because honestly, the most of the trading I did was more with the hobbyist guys, like guys who, kind of like Dino and them with, Red 5, like, this ain't my day job. And I can, I'm more willing to will and deal versus the guy who's like, I'm not going to make my mortgage if I don't get top dollar for this book. Those guys are going to be harder to do something with. So.
Fair enough. I don't know. It's kind of like Baltimore's a great show, but it's in fucking Baltimore these days. And,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I can go back there. It's too depressing. So did you 2 other yokels go to a show this weekend?
I went to a toy convention about 3 hours away. It was like 7 buildings.
Oh.
And it was weird because, like, it was a lot of. I found slightly more comics than I did actual figures because I'm strictly into like sealed 80 stuff, and a lot of that was just kind of loosey goosey or just way overpriced. You know what I mean? So it was worth the trip just to check it out. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot to be had, as far as I'm concerned. But it was fun.
Yeah, Cleveland Fan Expo was last weekend, and I wanted to go, and I didn't go, and I'm glad I didn't go because I heard there were only like 6 comic book vendors there.
Whoa.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay, so back when it was Wizard World, I remember the very first year that place was jam packed, filled with vendors and selling comics too, jam packed from front to back. And then as the years went on, things just kind of shrunk, and there was a whole lot of space in the back, and people selling, like vinyl siding, and people selling animals and goofy crap like that. And yeah, I have to imagine the natural progression would be just a handful of sellers at a 3-day show.
Yeah, they said it was way more toys and like anime stuff and stuff like that, and just six comic book vendors.
I mean, that is really what has happened down to WonderCon, and ultimately has happened to San Diego. It's like every year there's less of the comic book sellers because, like, those folks, like people who come to those cons, are not coming to they're not comic book readers. They're not comic book collectors. They are people who are into cosplay, people who are into anime. And I mean, like, I don't know, maybe the comic book industry needs to learn from those other types of hobbies of like how to get back into, the younger generation and have people give a shit as they age up into like their late 20s and 30s of like staying in that fandom. I don't know what mistakes. I mean, okay, I know what mistakes we made. The wrong people were the ambassadors of the hobby is a really big part of it. Like, shitty comic book shops ruining it when kids would come in being like, I don't want kids in my shop, and having no patience to engage with people when your anime and places that are selling manga and toys and things like that are like, this is my demographic and I'm going to lean the hell into that. So somebody just developed a love affair with a show or a toy or Funkos when they were a kid and they stayed with the hobby, and now they're in their 30s and they have money to spend. They're going to spend the money on those things. I mean, because let's not get twisted. People were leaving with expensive ass like boxes full of Funkos that clearly they weren't trying to flip. They were just buying it because they are a fan. They were buying statues. They were buying like, the classic, the Build 'em Gundams and shit like that. Like they were spending real money. What's happening there? They just weren't spending it on comic books.
No, and I just think it's not that comics are lost. It's just that they have to compete with so much stuff, and it's not bad. And I think there's more. Truthfully, if you're selling statues and you're selling some of this other stuff as like a retailer location, there's more margin than there is on a lot of these comics.
Yeah, there can be.
Yeah, I mean,
they probably haven't taken a dive because they've a new statue still selling as a new statue.
That's how it is with manga and stuff too. I mean, my manga collection's probably almost as big as my comic collection now. Like, I'm just grabbing that stuff while I can, while it's 10, 20, 30 bucks a pop for a book.
But I mean, they're like brand new. That's the thing though. It's like, but a brand new series will start up case in point, Chainsaw Man ain't really that old. What is it? Family X-Spy or whatever it's called. Like a lot of these things aren't super new per se, but My Hero Academia, not the newest thing in the world. I mean, much shorter time of existence than many of the youngest comic book ongoing like major hero series. Like, I mean, Damien has been around longer than My Hero Academia, all the ones that are like the top ones of this current generation. And they have a diehard fan base that would rival most comic book. Like if you can take the big three, they maybe combined sell as much as like the most popular manga in the US, if that matter. Not even worldwide, in the US. They just are doing it better from a promotional perspective.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, my kids' comics, I got one kid who'll read some Deadpool. I got one that likes to collect the covers. I got another one that read some of it for a while, but like 2 out of 3 are way into manga and just, anime, and it's just more interesting to them.
Yep.
Well, but I mean, it's if they made properties like again, this comment in particular, he said anime and not the manga. Like if he had said my kid is way more like a 7-year-old who's willing to read that, then hey, more power to him. But like the anime is purely because they're just doing good animation and writing good stories that translate to good TV watching. I think that's the biggest issue is that like if there are good stories, for the longest, DC was the only one putting out anything that was worth watching from an animated perspective. Let's be real about it. Like Marvel just could not get their act together. I've never sat through consistently any of the Marvel, and the thing is, like the Marvel stuff wasn't necessarily growing up with the kids either. Like there is definitely like there. I mean, again, not the biggest anime guy, like, but there is the stuff that was designed around like kids to like young adults and then stuff that was young adults to the adult stuff, and you could transition throughout, to and keep people, to the point where they start falling in love with a specific like studio, and it's not like again, comics can do the same thing when DC puts out DC animated films or one of our animated films or Marvel ever gets their act together. It can be done. Kids can fall in love with it. We saw it with Into the Spider-Verse. Like Into the Spider-Verse proved that if you make something like I saw way more Miles, white, black, Hispanic, Asian kids running around in Miles costumes than I saw anything else there, like from the comic book world at least. And that proves that if you hook a kid into a character, yeah, you ain't necessarily got to do it through a comic book. But then kids started coming back to comic book shops and asking for Miles stuff. Like that is one of the most asked for, and my friend's LCS, that is one of the most asked for thing by parents. Being like, you got any Miles Morales? My kid loves Miles Morales. So if you do it right, it does work. It just seems like none of the powers that be at Marvel or DC who are like trying to do the synergy shit actually think about this stuff and like, oh, like how do we hook that next generation? They just think, oh, we do a toy tie-in, that's enough.
No,
So
they spend so much time thinking about crossovers and summer events that you have to buy 52 books for. They, if you're actually trying to grow an audience, get them one series they can just read. Because shit's expensive. It's 16 pages for $4, $5, whatever the hell it is. It's too much.
The drop-in series, like that was the reason why post Batman the movie that like DC was killing shit is because they had Batman the anime series dovetailed off of the Batman movie, and then they started releasing books like comic books that you didn't have to read at that time 600 issue history of Batman to get into Batman. They're like, oh, here's a bunch of one-off stories that are like 3-issue arcs, 4-issue arcs that you can just drop in. You don't need to have read any other Batman. All you need to know is just who the hell Batman is and Robin is. And we're going to tell a bunch of original stories that are 3 issues. And they're going to be super easy to get your hands on. And it worked. And people got into Batman hardcore and eventually found their way into Detective and Batman. But Legends of the Dark Knight, stuff like that was like what got people reading. So it's like we've seen this formula work in the industry. It just seems like everybody's just fucking said, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's a volume of manga cost? Like new stuff off the shelf?
Oh Jesus, them shits ain't cheap. Let me see.
I was asking Josh, and he's like, I don't know. I only buy the old stuff from 1972.
Yeah. I mean, even the new stuff. I mean, you can probably buy it cheaper in Japan. Like, I buy new V-Jump manga for like $4 a pop from Japan. So,
well, I'm sure though the value on the amount of material is probably slightly better than $5 for 16 pages and 82 words.
All right, yeah, actually, all right. So if you do the volume 1 through 15 collection, which collects each one of the 15 from that set right now, $83.94 on. So I mean that's like an omnibus.
For which one?
That's for like My Hero Academia. So if you wanted to start reading My Hero Academia from the beginning, its retail price. So this has been out for a minute, but it retailed at MSRP was $120 on that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that per issue you were paying 120 divided by 15. You're paying more than $10 for one of those volumes.
But how big were they?
Yeah,
I mean a volume. How many issues are in a volume? I mean, I think a volume is like how they release. So like a singular issue is the volume. So
but it's not like 16 pages. What I'm saying.
It's not 16 pages. It is definitely more, but like
there's a little more story to it.
But their printing costs are a lot cheaper too because it's all black and white.
That's fair.
Yep.
Hey Josh, what's the most recent thing that you've seen come out to be kind of big on the secondary market?
Like, what do you mean? Just like anything, or like
Yeah.
manga wise?
Yeah, manga wise, yeah.
So manga wise, I usually just tell people like, because I get like insight from parents that have kids, and I just listen to that. So you got like Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Dragon Ball is still huge. I mean that shit just hasn't stopped. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What else is there? I'm probably forgetting stuff.
Spy X Family,
Spy X Family, Chainsaw Man,
Jujutsu Kaisen. Like those are the ones that like I couldn't walk 5 feet without running into somebody cosplaying as a character from those series.
One Piece. I mean, One Piece is about.
Yeah,
to
One
get
Piece still has an amazing
Netflix movie. Like, I mean, people just fall. I mean, I'm 35, and I know at least 1,000 people just from groups I'm in that, I mean, we all grew up with Dragon Ball and we still all love it and it's still going. They're still doing new stuff. Like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
I mean, frick, my 10-year-old is freaking neck deep in Luffy right now. I haven't watched it all, but I'll watch, a couple episodes here and there and then come back. Good thing about anime is sometimes the story takes, one fight takes 5 episodes. So it's like, I didn't really miss much, man. He's still fighting.
You should.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say you should have them watch Dragon Ball Z then from back in the day, the Goku versus Frieza fight. It was literally like 20 episodes, I think. Like,
I don't know. We were past it. We were watching the Gator episodes in like the early seasons. I'm like, all right, man, I've been gone at work all day, and he's watching all day. I'm like, where we at? He goes, about the same spot, Dad.
Well, I mean, shit. Like, I mean, One Piece is. I saw it for the sake. Like, there was a joke that I watched. This like guy on like TikTok or Instagram was like talking to this girl, and he was like, "Oh, so he's like, oh, you watch anime? I watch anime." He's like, "Oh, what are you into?" She's like, "Oh, One Piece or whatever." He's like, "Wow, One Piece." She's like, "Yeah, I'm on the." I finished it all like, over the summer. He's like, "Wow." And he was like, "Well, you're really cute. You want to go out sometime?" She's like, "Nothing against you. I just have commitment issues." He was like, "Commitment issues?" He was like, "One Piece has 1,000 episodes and you watched it in the summer. Wow. If I'm ugly, just say that." But it's honestly not true. There is 1,055 episodes of One Piece. So yeah, like the fact that you came in, he's watching One Piece, he's still watching One Piece, and hasn't gone anywhere. I'm like, because there's fucking like 20 filler episodes in every single arc because they're like, these motherfuckers like, I gotta buy time or else I'm gonna run out of shit to talk about.
I mean, even Pokemon stuff is still big. I mean, they finally just ended the whole Ash arc. So like,
we're finally a fucking Pokemon master. It only took 30 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. Before we jump into the market report, you got anything interesting to add about foreigns? Anything you're seeing in the market, Josh? I mean, I know you do more selling than most of us lately on the foreign side. Seeing things moving, staying things steady.
Don't send your books to auction houses.
Yeah, that seems to be.
I definitely wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that 128 fucking was murder. I don't know how.
I mean, all of it seems like murder. I mean, I had my last 6 books, I think, at Heritage go because they couldn't fit them into the big foreign auction that they did. And I mean, dude, it was brutal. Like, it's just brutal watching some of that stuff sell. And so, I mean, I wouldn't say it, but then you look at eBay and you're like, oh, okay, like, it's just auction houses. So
you just can't get any eyes on it. There is the problem. Like, cause it's most people into foreigns can't fucking figure out. It's hard to figure out what they're looking for, almost.
Mm-hmm.
I
I haven't seen anything crazy though. I mean, it's not like I haven't seen anything take a dive, or you still see your steals and deals out there. And then, I mean, I haven't sold anything like crazy in a while. So
where are you having the
I have,
most luck?
right now it's been, so this is gonna sound really weird, but I've been picking up. Here, I'll show you. So I've been picking up these Japanese movie programs. I know this is going
Whoa,
to sound really weird, but like,
that's beautiful.
yeah, so this is from the 1986, the first animated Mario movie that was ever done. It was done in Japan. It was Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. And this was the movie pamphlet that you got in 1986 when you went to the movie theater and you saw it
That's
in
wild.
Japan. So like they do this with everything. Like, I mean, I got Demon Slayer. I have, and I try and just buy like, that was the first Demon Slayer movie. This was the movie pamphlet for the first One Piece movie
Oh
when you went
God!
and saw it in Japan. They have,
If you get a spare of those, let me know. I got a
I
kid
mean,
and die for it.
they have all of it. Here, I think this was from the first Naruto movie that ever
Wow.
released in Japan. You got, the first My Hero Academia movie. And then they have, I mean, this went back too. So like this is from 1981. This was the first ever mobile suit
Wow.
Gundam movie that was ever released, and this was the movie pamphlet that
That's
came with
wild.
it. So this is where I've just been buying a lot of stuff from
I know.
Japan.
I've been
Like a
buying
lot
more
of
and selling.
stuff.
So okay,
Yeah.
so your sweet spot is like anime, Japan 80s, right?
Right now, yeah. I mean, it's just been like Japan everything. So
It's all where do you find a contact and a
yeah.
deal or a good spot that to hit? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm still buying a bunch of stuff from, Spain and stuff like that. I mean, it's all just about, like John said, what you can find, how much it's going to cost you, trying to figure out in your head possibly what, you could resell it for.
yeah. I mean, I think the issue is, the foreign market's taking the same thing as the American. It had some steam going, and now fucking everything's getting hit. Nobody's got quite as much disposable income, and the U.S.
Yeah.
books are coming down, which means they're not going to spend more on the foreigns than they are the U.S. sometimes, and other than some rare occasions. So I've been picking stuff up, but man, sales have been
Yeah, I mean,
low.
money's crazy right now for a lot of people. I mean, everything costs so much more than it did 2 years ago. Like food wise, or rent and stuff like that, gas,
Yeah,
all
so
that.
I don't know, man. And I see Haven for Heroes there. He had sold that Star Wars. I don't think he got killed, but he got less than he wanted at that Hakes auction, the Star Wars Filipino.
Oh yeah, see, I would have said that was low. Like a lot
He's
of people were like, that was a good sale," and I'm like,
he had a two.
"Ah."
He's told me he had a 2K offer before, and I'm like, well,
Yeah, I was just
damn.
kind of like, every time I see one of those pop up, it's like $1,000 raw.
What?
So
And
you
that's the
got
bitch of it.
you
That's
you got 1,500 for a graded copy, and that was with the buyer's premium. So you
that's
know,
yeah, 1550. But what chunk did they take too? And that's the bitch.
yeah.
At least they're more normal, and Comic Connect's normal, and fucking Heritage.
Yeah.
God
But
damn,
now, if you paid
they kill
nothing
you
for that book,
between the buyer's premium, the seller's premium, fucking tax and shipping. I mean, goddamn, Heritage. What you think
Yeah.
you pay is all of a
and
sudden
the and
double.
the grading fees, if you have Heritage grade your shit, dude, I was getting charged for that foreign auction. I was getting charged $75 a book for them to have CGC grade those things, because obviously they go to the front of the line and skip
Yeah,
everything. But I was like, holy cow, like
yeah. At least you had
$75 a
quality
book.
books, because there's some of those people sending in crap that I'm sure didn't even sell for 75.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably ended up owing Heritage money after that
Oof.
auction.
Yes.
Oof.
So funny that you mentioned that. I know somebody who, I just shop owner who started buying, or as you know, not shop owner, there's a guy online who had some big books from like, big COVID era X-Men ones, like, it's like a X-Men 180 or something like that. And it was either Heritage or it was either Comic Link. They'll give you a percentage of it up front, and then you can, basically buy from them against your upfront percentage. And the book did end up finishing where he thought it was going to. And so because of the percentages that he had taken on all the books, he ended up owing them money after it was all said and done.
Fuck.
What the?
That
damn.
is, I know people that have been auctioning stuff, and they're always talking about like, I mean, they haven't given me like specific money amounts that like the auction houses gave them up front, but I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, when you did your stuff, did you take any money up front? I'm like, hell no, because I don't know how much that stuff's gonna sell for, and I don't want them to give me 10 grand and then I sell $4,000 worth of stuff and then I end up owing them that 6 grand back. Like, you're crazy.
As somebody who's,
and I trust nothing as far as sales data on the forums right now. I mean, fuck.
Yeah,
there's no way that fucking wedding issue should have went for 25K. But the limit of bidding limit was there, and nobody fucking nobody that actually
no one knew
looking at that book knew about it.
Okay, now isn't it malfeasance to not say, hey, before you bid on this, you have to register to get approval to bid above a certain amount?
Yes.
Like, shouldn't that be like plastered all over that listing?
So it's probably not plastered, but it's probably in the fine print.
Yeah.
Damn the fine print, man.
Nobody's reading the end user agreement when they sign up for this shit. Like, no, that's good. Whatever.
Yeah, because that was what Comic Connect, and for Comic Connect,
they all have it.
Yeah, for Comic Connect, the most recent one, there was a book that stopped at 25 grand, and that was because that is like you need approval from Comic Connect to go over that, and no one knew that. So the book just stopped there and no one could bid on it because it was already too late and they had no idea.
No.
Yeah, that's absolutely like idiotic to do that. And ultimately, because I mean, the auction house, you're hurting yourself. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, let it go. And if if ultimately the money don't clear, the money don't clear, but I wouldn't be putting forth things like that, being like, oh, I'm gonna block, people from being able to bid if they're not pre-approved or don't have, you don't have
to ship to them.
Yeah. It's like, at the end of the day, if they just don't have the money and they can't afford it, then you just go to the next person in line and go, hey, so you had the next highest bid. That's what, I mean, again, like, I'm not going to speak, amazingly of Golden, but I didn't have a bad experience with the shit I sold with them. And their policy was, if, person didn't pay, because they had a week to pay, and then after a week, they started getting charged a fee for being late, which I'm pretty sure they actually gave me part of that, because the person took 2 weeks or 3 weeks to pay them. And I did the math on my percentage of what my sale was, because it was 5%, very similar to what Haven paid over at Hakes. I got more than 5% back on that book because I think they gave me a percentage of the late fee.
Yeah, I mean, Heritage has late fees.
And it's like, if the person isn't able to pay for it, even if they didn't go to the next lowest bidder, what does it cost them to just post 2 more pictures and list it on another auction? Like,
nothing.
I had one book from the first foreign auction that someone won, and they ended up not paying for, and they just waited and put it with my other books and uploaded the pictures again, and it went for sale again. Like,
yeah. I don't think I'd be auctioning anywhere. eBay, auction houses, I'd be real fucking hesitant.
I mean, unless you truly have like a rare air situation, like if you've got like the one of that thing, or
if it's hot, brand new, or something that just nobody's seen and everybody wants.
Yeah. I mean, if you got that original artwork from The Dark Knight Returns, I'm like, fuck it, let it rock.
All right, that's different. That's different, but yeah, fuck, man, it's wild out there. All right, I'm gonna steam through this market report because we've been fucking chatty, but that's all right. So yet another AF-15, but this is one of a different fucking color here. A 9.0. God damn it. Where's Dino when I need him?
One more time, you'll probably get it right.
Oh, it moved me on her. There we go. All right. A 9092 restored. Lots of resto, color touch, paid, pieces added, spine reinforced, and a couple other things. 32K basically. Sorry, it's cut off. They added fucking more. They updated the app and now they added more pictures and now the fucking price and the picture are further apart, assholes. So for this price, you can have a 9.2 old label restored, which is interesting, or a one sold at I think 3.5 for pretty damn close to that. I think a 3 was 28 and a 3.5 was 32, 34.
In a book like this, I give two shits about it being restored. Like if I manage to get my hands on anything north of a 7.5 and it's Frankenstein like this, don't give a fuck because it's something to present. It presents well because it's perfect. So who gives a shit? Like
it's already restored.
Yeah, it's like So at this point, fuck it, Frankenstein the hell out of it. Have it be perfection. And I'm like, it's still an AF-15. It still has 90% of the pieces that it should have to it. Whatever, I don't give a shit.
I'd get a fucking frame and hide the fucking purple label and nobody fucking.
Oh, I'd crack this bitch out in a heartbeat and put it into like one of those like really like hermetically sealed hard boys. Because again, like somebody's gonna poo poo you on the purple label. Somebody's gonna be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna crack this bitch out. I'm gonna put it in there, but here's my AF-15 that's like hanging up on my wall with UV resin glass and shit.
And nobody's gonna fucking know it's restored until they really dig into it. Like
exactly.
Nobody that's gonna see it on your fucking wall is gonna know. No, you're not trying to resell it, but just fucking display. Fuck it, it looks gorgeous.
So now, what if you had the choice between a purple label and like a Pence copy, a high grade Pence copy, in the same?
Oh, I mean, a Pence copy would be worth so much different, though.
Well, I mean, like a 7.0, a 7.0. Well, actually, is there?
I don't think the Pence
is there a Pence cop? Is there?
I don't know.
No, there is.
I think we're talking.
There is a Pence copy of this book.
Yeah, there is a Pence.
Yeah. It's such an extreme here, though. Like to go from a 3 to a 9.2.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. As a car guy, I look at this very similar to the difference between having a fully original, like classic car and having one where it has been like, there's new aftermarket metal on it because it started to rust and it's been repainted and you put a different engine in it from what it should have had at that point in time. Like I see this, like I look at this like almost like a resto mod. I was like, are the purists going to want it? Fuck no. But there's somebody out there who's going to be more than happy.
A lot of people willing to give it a ride.
Exactly. Yeah. This is the resto mod of comics. At this point, like when you're at this level of restoration, it's still at its core, the spirit is still an AF-15. It's just had a little bit of work done.
And again, you couldn't, I mean, just a 9.2 is got to be close to $1 million book.
Yeah.
It'd be 30,000. That's such a fucking crazy difference.
Yeah, I'd much rather have an AC Cobra kit card than a fucking proper AC Cobra at $1.4 million versus this 30 grand kit card. I'm like, I'll take the 30 grand kit card.
I wouldn't always make the decision, but the fucking numbers are so crazy here.
Yeah.
All right. It could also be the market, but still. All right. Burn through some of these. One of these you do not see very often. This is selling at about a 1.8 price. Army at War. First Sergeant Rock. Real tough book to find. Only about 200 in the census. And I think I wrote down that the top one's like an 8.0. Wild. A beater of a first Deadshot. Got almost 350, which amazed me. I mean, that is an ugly fucking comic.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's rat chewed, dog chewed, whatever the fuck happened to that one.
Birdshot.
Yeah, that's rough. This is more just a what the fuck. I mean, all these variant things. This is a 1 in 25 case of 140, selling at about $250 a pop. A sealed fucking case of 1 in 25s.
So, I don't think most people here have a Diamond account, but Diamond used to do, I'm not sure if they still do it, but they used to do their summer sell-off thing where basically the ratios that they couldn't move, they would then offer up to places to buy. And if they didn't move still, we just never know what ever happened to them. We assume they were destroyed.
Oh yeah, you're talking about like the diamond dumps.
Yeah, the diamond dumps. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't even think, I'm not even sure this is that. This could be somebody bought an exclusive and got all the 1 in 25s.
Nah, this screams like, because they would have just been in separate boxes, because the way the diamond does it is like they count your books and then they take one out of the box like this and slip you one in for every 25 that you have. So I think they just overestimated how many people were going to go goo gaga over the 1 in 2 Ghost, whatever the fuck his name was, of Batman 102. Because let's be real, that character did not take off at all. So I think they overprinted the regular book, got stuck with a shit ton of these, and were just like, So who knows? They might have supposed to been destroyed. They might have just sat the box by the trash can, and somebody would open one and was like, "Oh shit!" and took them home.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, who knows? But I can absolutely see that. Like, these were printed, because that's how things are printed. All the copies like this would have been printed together, and they would have just been in a box together. So somebody just didn't dispose of things like they were supposed to.
I don't know if you like ever look for these, John, but there's been quite a few of like these cases of DC incentives selling.
Oh, I wasn't even. I know there exists. This is just one that caught my eye today, and I was like, God damn, people, be careful.
Yeah, because there was one not too long ago, and it was like a case full of some Punchline cover, but it was all incentives, and it was like this. It was like a case of 140.
Yep. It is a Punchline special #1 blank variant cover, case of 90. So I'm pretty sure it's the exact same person. Let me click on it.
Neat Stuff Collectibles.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
it's the exact same person. So this person fucking probably knows somebody who works at Diamond. It's just like, here you go.
Out the back door.
Exactly.
Hey.
Somebody is set if this character ever takes off again. All right. Blip magazine, first Donkey Kong. This thing was fucking hot during COVID for some reason. Just a reminder, it went for as high as $2,600. That same year, early on, it went as low as $650. There are now 27.98s. This year, it's been the only sale. Last year, it kind of sat between 2K and 28, but it's definitely lost some heat. There's another wild book, 9.6 of the 251. Tough book. There was a 9.8 sale for $35K last year.
Dang.
That's wild to me.
9.6 earlier this year of this book, I believe.
There was what?
I think there was a 9.4 or 9.6 of this book earlier. No. There was a 9.6 of the Ray Shaw Bull first appearance.
There was a 9.4 in March of this one, which for $25.50. The all-time high 6,200 back in 2021. So, I don't know, 9.4 to 9.6 double price. That's probably about right. I don't know.
This book feels. I've got a 9.4 of this book, and this that looks hella cheap to me. This feels like, to me, this is the first appearance of the modern Joker, even though it doesn't say it on label, but it feels like this is like a straight up first appearance to me. So this feels really cheap.
Well,
and like at the prices that 9.4s are selling, I would not I wouldn't even think about selling.
I think somebody got a good deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey Josh, I bought a Lebanon.
Oh,
It's not here yet, but I bought one this week.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see that.
It's Scots that traveled across the globe and back now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right. Enough foreign nerd talk, but that's all right. It's fucking rare as the fucking 9.8, I feel like. But here's another one that's interesting to me is the Fantasy Quarterly 1, which is first Elf Quest. This is one that was, man, dirt cheap. I bought a few copies back in like 17 for nothing. I ended up selling them earlier, but you could have got a 9.8 for like $150 way back then. But the 9.8s topped out at 2K in 2021. There was a 9.8 for 1,500 this year. 9.4s have went as high as 640 last year. It's down a little bit, but it's an interesting book that like has a cult following, but it's not as strong a cult as some of the other ones.
I mean, I had a 9.2 of this book and could not give it away. Like,
yeah, it's a weird one. There are a lot of people into it, but you'd never see them. I don't know if they don't leave their house or what it is.
I had one shop who was like, "Oh, I would love to buy this from you, but I hate ElfQuest fans, so I just won't take it from you." Like straight up said that. Was like love the book, hate the fan base, don't have no interest in dealing with them to sell this book. And I was like, "Fuck." I was like, how toxic are you fuckers?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. 181.94 for 7. I don't know. It's actually what was that? God damn, can't read it.
It's
12,000.
Yeah, 12,371 plus $18 in shipping.
Thank you. All-time high, not signed. I couldn't find a sale on a stand. This one must not have processed yet. All-time high was 22.8. So with the stand sig, you're sitting just about half of the all-time high.
So there's something wrong with GPA right now because I was looking to see if a book that I bought had shown up yet, and it had not. So there's something kind of weird happening between eBay and GPA right now with them recording eBay sales. So
I couldn't find a 9.4 stand sale at all because, well, Stan has not much to do with this fucking character.
Yeah, but people still strangely like. I was watching this book because again, I was in the market to pick up another Hulk 181, and I was just like, but Stan, so no. I don't know. Maybe I need to turn that part of my brain off when it comes to Stan signing shit that Stan had nothing to do with because it'll still sell. But I just can't do that. And that just felt also it's an ugly ass signature. Like it is a scribble on like Wolverine's crotch. So you can't make out that shit at all. So yeah, it's an ugly signature, bad placement, and I was just like, I'm good. So
I only highlight this because it's a beautiful copy of Lois Lane 1. Really bright colors, all that. Nice sale on it. Just liked it. This is just to show The Rock fucking beat the shit out of this fucking thing. 4.5 and a 2.5 just sold. For reference, my 5.5 sold for, I think, 10.5 at MCS. If I would have sold it maybe 3 months before the movie, I would have probably got double that. So the Rockhead really fucked us on this one.
Well, it's not just The Rock, too. Like, let's be real about it. James Gunn fucked everyone who had this book as well. And also Heritage.
I sound like Zach Levi.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, you can point fingers at The Rock, and absolutely, because, like, going all the way back, The Rock screwed this by not wanting to play nice with, thinking that he was bigger than a Shazam movie. When Shazam should have been his counterpart in his film, like he was like, no, I want Superman. It's like, you don't have a history with Superman. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
So that's where The Rock fucked things up. But the nail in the coffin was the fact that basically, like, before the movie comes out, the entire executive team is just like, yeah, this movie don't fucking matter. So Marvel family be damned. So it was just like, well, if you were buying this for any type of hope in the future, that shit's out the window now. So yeah, like they killed it before it even had a chance to take off.
Yeah, I mean, I bought mine way fucking back when, so I was fine. I 10x my money, but fuck, I could have 20x'd it. All right, this one I was like, man, this is a rare fucking grade in this book. I don't see it very often. And then I look at GPA. There's been 5 fucking sales this year of an 8.0. It started at 866 in January and has went all the way up to this one's the high of the year. It's not the all-time high, which was last year at 1,500. I was wondering if there's something going on behind the scenes just to see that many sell. The highest is a 9.6 times 2, and a 9.0 sold in January for $22.75. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything going on with it. Just must be a lot coming to market.
No, honestly, I think if you read the tea leaves, is that I think there may be opportunity for Deadman to play into
Constantine and all that shit.
Well, I mean, Constantine, ultimately them maybe still pulling off a Justice League Dark. I mean, Swamp Thing's going to be the anchor of like the monster section of things, and now you're getting into the weird occult supernatural section of DC. So I absolutely could see, and this is the type of character that is right in James Gunn's fucking wheelhouse.
You're right.
So like, I could honestly see people being like, I mean, it's the same logic I had when they announced Blade. I ran because at that point the Blade books took off, and I ran and started buying Werewolf by Night and a bunch of other like monsters. I was like, well, Blade's gonna need somebody to fucking fight, and luckily the Werewolf by Night paid off. I'm still, maybe some of the other ones may or may not, but I was like, characters that have synergy together. It's like, well, if I can't get you, let me buy the tertiary shit that's connected to you.
Dead Man is an interesting one. You're right. That is a gun special. This one is a weird one. Oh, not that one. Nope. He mislabeled it. Sorry. Oh, he took 2 fucking pictures. All right, it's gone. I had a Sandman editorial version, but it was personalized signature that sold pretty cheap. It's only a 7L, but oh well. Dino mixed up the pictures, so we don't have it. This one seems like a good buy to me. A 4.0 of Showcase 17. The first Adam Strange, nice colors, tough fucking book. You just can't find the goddamn thing. 99 Spidey 1. Oh, it's just like get amused by the 99s.
Metropolis was letting people pose with the 99 Iron Man that they had in their booth.
99 Iron Man what?
Iron Man 1.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, it definitely wasn't a 99. Like, I mean, I got a chance to hold it and look at it, and I was just like, I mean, it's pretty. Don't get me wrong, but like,
it's a gift grades.
Yeah, it's like it's as good as you were going to get out of that book. But like, I'm a stickler that like to get a 99, you need to be a perfect example or a damn near perfect example of that book. So on anything from that time period, if you have a miswrap, or if that fucking back, if your back cover like is canted and shit, like so happens on Hulk 181s all the time, I don't think you deserve a 99 on that. Like,
no,
I think
fucking
you can be a 98.
Corners better be fucking poke your eye out.
Yeah. So that was my issue when I flipped it over. I was just like, this shit is like, I mean, the advertisement was damn near touching the spine. It was so fucking canted. I was just like, what? No, that's not a 99, dog. Like, I mean, hey, I ain't gonna buy it, but still, like, whoever's going, because it's going up for auction, so we'll see it in a little bit. It'll probably on Comic Connect on auction.
Might be a one-time get it cheap.
Hey, you never know.
I don't know. 99's fucking special breed of rich people buy though. They don't fucking care.
Yeah.
This one was a weird one. I had another high grade restored Tech 225 4K. I didn't even look at the numbers. I was just so amused by this thing. Probably an interesting book to buy. I didn't even dig into it. I just thought it was interesting to see it. I never see this book above fucking like a 3, and to see a restored nice copy again, kind of cool. I don't know if I'd throw that much money at it, but still cool. Speaking of books that have fucking taken a beating.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
In case you guys do not remember what the high price was $2,800 in July of 2021. And I was going to say maybe it's a CBCS discount. No, there was a $404 sale of a CGC 9.8 recently. So, god damn, that book has fallen. There's one more I want, but I don't know if Dino got it. All right, maybe I'll bring it next week because I don't see it. I'll bring it back. One more I liked was some pulps, because somebody brought up pulps earlier. I just thought these covers were gorgeous. 1929 Science Wonder Quarterly, gorgeous rocket ship cover. It's the same. No, actually, the Buck Rogers I had the other day was 32? 1932 I showed. So, I mean, that's just gorgeous, and the art of the time is great. The other one I was amused by is the Science Wonders, also 1929, but it's got these guys kind of wearing, looks like submarine, like the deep dive mask, except they've got TVs on them. I'm like, it's a Saga prototype, guys. So, I don't know.
Seems cheap.
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
Just for how old they are and how
they don't
beautiful they look.
They do not look rough, man. They do not look rough.
Pulps are weird. I've bought pulps here and there, and I watched that big CGC or Heritage Pulp auction and stuff like that, and it just seems like if it doesn't have like a half-naked chick on the cover, it usually or someone stabbing someone or a skull, like it just doesn't go for anything.
Even then, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
I don't claim to figure it. Actually, these are decent prices because I mean sometimes you're picking up pulps for $20-$30, and I don't know, $300-$400 pulps are nice. I would love to own these and just kind of sit on them because those are like pieces of art to me. These are so cool. I love reading sci-fi from the 60s, seeing where they think they were, and go back, 30, 40 years from there and just think where they think we are. And it's just intriguing. So, all right, that's the market report. Who's got some pickups they want to talk about?
I got something since we have 2 foreign guys here.
All right, hold on. Let me get this out of here.
Oh, I know what this is.
A rookie.
Okay.
Maybe?
Now, last week, John, you saw the Detective 400, and in the back chat, Josh, you saw the same book, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got some more.
You went back?
Well, I put these up at the same time.
Nah.
Okay, so
all right, Neil Adams cover.
Yeah. I'm with it. So
yeah, for the prices you paid, hell yeah.
So yeah, we went the dollar sale. These are a little rough, but okay. Now here's a cover I've never seen. So Fantásticas, Fantásticas.
I would think it's a Titans cover, but I can't swear that I know it. I mean, it would be a Titans if it's anything.
Yeah, because I've never seen this cover in the American version. So
I would have to confirm before I commit that it's not. Sometimes they also size them differently and do weird things. Like they'll chop out a piece of the cover and blow it up.
Yeah.
So it just may look funny. But yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Oh, we got some more Historias Fantásticas.
Oh, nice.
And here's another cover it looks Neil Adams, and
it probably is. I wonder if it's
no. You know what? I take that back. It looks more
Justice League or maybe a Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, it honestly looks like a hybrid of Neil Adams and Joe Kubert. Like that's the kind of like the mashup. I'm not quite sure who the artist is, but I've never seen this cover before.
Yeah, it's a dope cover.
In the American version.
Could be a Cardi.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we got a few more. We have Batman yada yada yada.
Okay.
What? Any idea what country this is? Well, let's see. Batman and this definitely. I don't think this looks Spanish.
I'm curious where that's from.
Go a little closer. I need more. Down on the image.
Oh, okay.
It's French. Is that French?
Oh, you can take a look at the Wheeze in. I don't know.
I mean, it's an F for the price, or German, Frank.
Yeah,
that's got to be a franc.
Yeah,
for the price.
Yeah, I think so. I think
never seen this cover before.
I'm betting they chopped it up, but it could also be a splash page too. But there's some Batman I have where the size is so different, or they took a piece of the cover on some of them and they make that the whole cover. It just throws things off.
Netherlands.
Okay.
The last book was from the Netherlands.
Oh,
okay,
good work.
Cool.
This is another Mexican though.
Bat comic.
Yeah, Bat comic.
Man,
got right to the point of the title.
You did all right.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said for $1 a piece, man. Pick them all up.
Hombre,
all right.
El Hombre Murcielago.
Another Neil Adams cover I've never seen.
Hombre Murcielago. The Batman.
That's sweet.
Yeah. We got a couple more. Green Lantern.
Yeah, the Batman comic covered a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like I got a Green Lantern 76 that says Batman, you know.
Yeah.
Now this looks like Hubert.
Man, you picked those all up for $1. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to hit that place.
Right. They're having another sale.
All right.
I like that cover.
Last one.
Nice.
Batman Green Lantern.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool cover.
It's like that.
Yeah, I mean for $1 or $2 shit. Okay. We gotta pay like $30 shipping just to get shit here.
Yeah, dude.
That was weird because it was that collection that the store bought. It was like a hodgepodge of just like modern stuff all the way to that. You know, it was weird.
Probably a soldier or something that just been traveling.
Yeah.
So
I ain't mad at it.
I mean, we talked to some guys that like have been overseas for 5-6 years and come back, and they just got a bunch of cool shit they picked up.
Mm-hmm.
So nice. All right, who's next?
Stuff.
All right, let's see the WonderCon pickups.
All right, so we'll start with the lowest to the highest. So again, if I find a Century 1, cover A that's a 9.8 for under $350, I'm taking it just because.
Nice.
Yeah, why not?
I missed Heritage had a fucking piece of OA from that book, and I was like, God damn it, I should have bought it, and I slept on it.
Traded my way into this guy.
Okay. Newsstand
9.8 action. So trying to get into that rare air. I think the Canadian price variance, the only thing that's a little bit rare.
No, but I like the newsstands a little easier to get rid of.
Yeah. Traded my way into this guy.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And we have a CGC unboxing. Unfortunately, I already know the grade, but
hey, that's okay.
And I'm also one that's willing to show a swing and a miss. So this was a book that I bought.
Oh, shucks.
Bought it already graded. I've shown it on the show before, and I was like, it was dirty. And I was like, man, some cleaning, some press work, maybe a half a grade bump, possible. My presser contacted me right before he opened it, was just like, hey, I'm seeing some stuff. It really could go either way. It could either go up one or it could go down one. And so we open it, and it unfortunately went down a half. So,
yeah.
It is now way prettier than it was before it left here. It's
not a killer half grade though.
Yeah, but the back of this book, like somebody had slid across the goddamn table before it left here. Losing a half a grade, I'm like, but it presents so much better than it did before. So whatever, I'm okay with it. Value-wise, I didn't lose much of anything. Somebody will definitely try to argue me down because the last 7.5 sold for the exact same price that a 7.0 sold for. So people like to play the game. Well, why would somebody pay the same price, for the 7.0 when they could get a 7.5 for the same price? So.
Go bother somebody else.
Yeah. It presents so much better than it did before. So, I didn't lose anything on the page quality. So I'm like, whatever. I'll sit on it.
Sometimes graders have a shit day. I had a 181 green missing a value stamp that I was like, man, there's so many pressable defects. I sent it to Sean. And as soon as he took it out of the case, he was like, dude, I don't know how it got this grade. There's a giant fucking indent going down the book that I can't get out. That I couldn't see on the case. So, fuckers.
Yeah, it happens.
Got anything else?
That is it for me at the moment. There is a big book that I bought because I couldn't find.
You're fucking didn't buy it at the con and bought it on eBay book?
Yeah, I hate to be that guy, but at a certain point when everybody just wants to charge you way too fucking much for a book, fuck it, I'll just buy it elsewhere. And then people had the nerve to be like, "Oh, did you end up finding one on the floor?" I was like, "No, I just bought it on eBay."
Yeah, I paid $5,000 less. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and they looked at me like, "What? Like I did something sacrilegious?" I was like, "Nah, dude, it's like." No,
were you going to sell it to me that much? No.
Yeah, so I was like, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
Comic book buy.
Josh, you got some stuff you want to share?
Son of a gun.
I got a pile of manga. He has a literal pile of manga. Oh, hey, hold on. Your mic's not working.
You're on mute.
It's not manga, but you'll be surprised when I show you what that is. So,
oh, what is that?
ta-da!
Where's that from?
Comic Pocket. Interesting.
Yeah.
Where is
So these are, I want to say it's either French or Italian.
Weird.
Like, I can't even remember off the rip, and I know someone's going to be like, "Ugh."
Yeah, well, sometimes the brains get fried.
So yeah, this was, they did a big bound volume. Like, this is straight from the manufacturer, but it's a big old bound volume of Dracula. So I got all this
tiny.
thick and tiny. So I got
oh man,
I got all these in an
Pee-wee's
auction.
known to be thick and tiny.
Yeah, got a bunch of these. So just flip through them real quick.
Those are interesting.
Yeah.
But they're not really pocket size, right? They're bigger than digest, right?
These ones are a little bit smaller. I mean, I guess if you still had a monster pocket.
But they're not like sometimes like true pocket size ones.
Yeah, there you go.
Huh.
Yeah. So
thick,
fucking run of it.
And French. That's my type.
It's an interesting cover. I don't know.
Yeah. That's wild. I don't think I could go into Josh's comic room and be amazed of shit. Like, I've spent a lot of time in foreigns, and you'd have so much shit I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Dude, I don't even know what I'm looking at half the time.
Like 3 a.m, you see something you've not seen before and just hit buy.
Yeah, my room is a freaking mess. So yeah, I think this was like the entire. I'm pretty sure this was the complete run of Dracula from France. I really want to say these are from France, but so you got that one, which also I just realized has a cool Beatles cover on the back.
Nice.
And then there's this one, and then I got these Special Stranges, the lugs.
Okay.
But what is neat about these is because I never knew these books had this stuff in them. Let me just open it up really quick and find it. Or maybe it's only, oh yeah. So these Special Stranges apparently have these cutout cards.
Oh, fucking cutouts.
So these are all complete, and they all have their cutouts. So like this has Fantastic Four #1 and some other stuff inside of it. But then we got this one, and I'm assuming
whose face is in the middle of all these?
That would be, I think it's Stan Lee.
No,
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Stan. But again, these are all complete. They all have their. Is
that a pre-glasses Stan?
We're here. Flash it one more time, real fast.
Pretty sure that's supposed to be Stan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's beard back in the day.
Back when he was young and magnificent.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to open them all, but these are all complete with their inserts. So I got this entire lot of these.
All right.
All featuring Stan's face.
Stan. Those would be good ones for Stan Siggs, man. Too bad.
That's a weird Stan face.
Oh, God. I like old Stan better than young Stan.
This one, he looks like he's about ready to shit himself. But yeah,
they probably just keep making faces, man. We'll snap photos down.
Yeah, so I mean, these are all neat, and like I said, I'll open the last one, but they're all complete. They all have their cutouts inside of them. So I'm guessing these were like supposed to be little trading cards because they got like the info on the back about the character.
Yeah, they're the Marvel value stamp of.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's it for me.
All right, I got 2. Talked about one last week. Let me get. Got to do too many things at once here. That's where Dino's needed. I picked it up a while ago and I'm showing it off. I got this from a friend of ours, replacing one that I sold at
Nice.
Baltimore, the South African Hero for Hire. This is the American language edition. There's actually, I think, 4 editions in there.
Yeah, 4, I think.
And one's in African.
African, yeah, however you pronounce it.
And then there's 2 others in other.
I don't want to sound like an idiot, but is one of them like Zulu or?
I think so. Other indigenous languages. And
yeah.
I don't think I've seen a picture of the other 2. I've seen 1 or 2 pictures of the African edition. And then this one, buddy of the show, Chad Crow, sent me a link to. Dino and I talked about it.
Ooh, nice.
Forever People 1, Navarro, Mexican edition. Not bad. I mean, it shows up a little better on the light.
I was going to say it looks clean as hell.
It is not bad. I mean, because the American book isn't as white as you think it is either. So there's a little bit of color to it, but it's pretty damn nice. Got it for like $25, so I'm pretty thrilled. I did not have this one, so nice one to put away and just go with. I don't think we have anybody got anything else they want to mention, throw out. Josh, you got any sales? You doing anything? No. All right.
Nope.
So,
well, I will actually say this. So I ran into a subscriber, viewer of the show. Don't remember what their name is. So I apologize if you're watching right now, but it threw me off completely because like they hit me with like the triple take, and I was just like, do I owe you money or something? Like, what's going on here? Because I'm like, I don't recognize this person at all, and they were just like, hey, so you wouldn't happen to like be a part of like Tales from the Flipside? I was like, yeah, that's me. I was like, but it was like, I was like, oh yeah, I was like, legs around here somewhere, and people like that. He's like, oh yeah, I think I saw a leg cut into the crowd or whatever. I was like, yeah, but I was like, appreciate you being a subscriber. You know, definitely it's cool to meet you in person. But yeah, I was like just kept like giving me shooting glances. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, who's this dude?
What I do?
I was like, do I know you, man? Like I was like, hey, how's it going? He was like, and then he like introduced. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He was trying to figure out. I think he was just like, is that him? And he's like, man, you're way taller than I would have expected. I was like, yeah, and it's kind of hard to tell on YouTube sitting in a chair, but I'm a tall ass dude, so.
All right.
Did I ever? I just got this. Did I ever show you this, John? I forgot about this one.
Oh yeah, I saw you picture of it. You bastard. That's a beautiful
look. What year is that?
This is from 1948, so it's a couple years after the U.S. A few years, but.
God damn.
Flash Comics 92.
Where'd you get that one from? Joey Kazi?
Jim.
Jim. All right.
This was on like a Brazilian auction house.
All right, good. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for watching, listening. We're gonna head it out. I do think On the Radar is going on live shortly, or just did. So feel free to check them out on their channel, and we'll see you all again next week. Thanks, guys.